Ready, set, go!
Greetings, children of the screen, your friendly neighborhood nerd scum here once again. Sorry I haven't had nearly as much content coming out as of recently, but I've been kinda sorta moving. I say kinda sorta because I'm literally moving to a different room in my same house. But when you have as much stuff as I have, you know, like, it takes a while. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna have like some more stuff coming out here pretty soon. I'm just about done with the move, but I absolutely had to take a few minutes today to talk to you guys about the final issue of one of my favorite things to come out of DC Comics ever, and that is Adventures of the Super Sons. Now, I'm not going to be so much talking about specifically the issue as much as the series as a whole, not just the Adventures of the Super Sons, but then also its predecessor, the Super Sons. And this is going to be really, really brief, really quick. But, so yeah, in this issue, they deal with Rex Luthor, who is like the young teenage doppelganger of Lex Luthor. They also explain like where these characters actually come from, and it has this very nice kind of walking the line of being like a metatextual kind of thing going on, where you kind of, spoiler, the only spoiler I'm going to give in this video, you kind of find out that a lot of this stuff has been happening in like a micro universe that's basically in like a Tesseract type thing. So yeah, like that's the only real spoiler I'm going to give. But yeah, you find out that all this stuff's been happening in there, and so using that as like a very kind of a way to kind of veil the metaphor between like what's happening in the book being very referential to the way that the Super Sons and Adventures of the Super Sons titles like have progressed, where like they went from being like a mainstay part of the main continuity to Brian Michael Bendis coming in and being like, nope, Superman's mine, it's all mine, and anything that belongs to Superman belongs to me now. John, let's turn him into a teenage boy and like make him all angsty and like all the other teenage assholes I like to write about, you know. But so then like they got Adventures of the Super Sons going. And in this book, like, they kind of, like, it still happened, but it's kind of, like, forced into this, like, tiny little pocket of DC where, like, yeah, it happened, but we don't really talk about it, and it can't really affect anything else that happens on, you know, like, outside of it, and the characters can't really develop. So, yeah, like, the whole idea of them being, like, a lot of this happening within a pocket universe is very kind of metatextually referential. To things that have happened with the way that these characters and the creator of specifically Jonathan Kent have kind of like what they've had to do to tell their story, which is also great because they keep the framing device from the previous Super Sons book of like the old man reading a story to his grandkids, although in this one like we definitely have two old men, highly like, you know, supposed to be like it's some reality version, if not this reality's older version of Damian and Jonathan when they're old men talking to their grandkids or something like that. So yeah, it's really fun, and I really like that they kept that. Also because I went into this like with like, yeah, well, this is it, this is all I'm gonna get. Like Bendis is doing his thing, they've got a young adult book that's like got John and Damian in it doing their own thing, but it's like way over there and like clearly doesn't connect to anything else that's been established about those characters. But then like of course at the final bit of it, in the, like the bookend that they do, like, you know, the old men promise them one more story, and this one's gonna be a doozy. And then at the bottom it says never the end. So like it's the end for now, but I find it, with as many people who love this book and these characters and this team as much as I do, I find it highly unlikely that we will never see another Super Sons book. Hopefully with Peter J. Tomasi doing the writing on it, as he's like pretty much the only one who I feel can actually handle Damian decently and make me care about him as a character. Like, man, I was really happy with what was going on with Damian in Rebirth. Like, they got him to a good place where I enjoyed him, and like Tomasi was working on him in the Super Sons book, and like everything was going really well. And then like right around the time of Justice League No Justice, like they turned Damian back into a little asshole. And then John got picked up by Brian Michael Bendis, and he got turned into an asshole. And it's just like, man, God, since Tomasi took over Detective Comics, like he's been bringing back a lot of the elements of Damian that I really love, but still, yeah, like, oh man, people just can't write Damian, and Tomasi is great at him, and he's great at like balancing out what makes Damian and Jonathan a good team, and how they both like strengthen and kind of like lighten each other up in certain places. It's a lot of fun. If you have not been reading Adventures of the Super Sons, there's an omnibus of all the stuff from Rebirth, as well as like their annuals and like the crossovers with like the Looney Tunes and the Hanna-Barbera characters. All that's collected in one big omnibus that I highly recommend. This book just ended, so if you haven't been following it, like the trade will be out soon, and I highly recommend picking it up. Adventures of the Super Sons is one of the things I love most that has ever come out of DC Comics, and it has definitely been one of the best, not ongoing series, because it's actually a series and, you know, a mini series and then a maxi series or two maxi series, or however you want to call it. Super Sons, Adventures of the Super Sons. If you haven't been reading it, it's awesome. It's just freaking fantastic. I highly recommend it. Go out and pick it up. Right on, guys. Thank you very much. You know, if you've been keeping up with Super Sons, let me know down in the comments below what you've been thinking of it, and like what you think in terms of like, are we going to get more stories with these characters, or is this going to be something that's, you know, this was our goodbye? But like, it's implied that like, even though we don't get to see the stories, like they're still out there doing their thing. You know what I mean? Let me know down in the comments below. And once again, guys, thank you very much for stopping by this evening. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Nerd Scum, out.